Read it in the 4th chapter, the 20th verse of the book of Ephesians. You did not so learn Christ. For they carried on as they were. They believed the story of Christ, but that was not all. If that's all that they believe, and he tells them, you did not so learn Christ. Take off the old man, take off the old clothing, and now he extends it to a change of character. For these verbs, to put off and put on, this really means simply a change of clothing. Well, he extends it to the significance of a change of character. I change my character by changing my inner conversations. How long will it take? It wouldn't take long if I'm consistent. It should not take long if I did it for a whole day. Someone said if you did it for 3 minutes, you would change your entire world. Well, maybe you would. I will say if you did it for a day, become completely aware of what you're saying inwardly and change it to conform to the wish fulfilled for a day. I don't know any power in this world that could uproot that tree from bearing exactly what you want. You couldn't really. So this is the inner speech, the inner conversation that the Bible tries to tell us to put into practice. My word shall not return unto me void, but it must accomplish that which I please. Every word. Well, what do I please? Well, for you, I can take you in my mind's eye and hear good words for you just as though you were telling me what I'm listening to. I listen to it as though I heard it coming from without, when really I'm whispering the whole thing from within myself. If I do it and believe in the reality of it, it must produce in me a certain emotion. For if a thought is only a thought and doesn't produce some motor element, it doesn't work. Now, what would be a motor element? A laugh, a tear would be a motor element. It must become emotional as Peter, in the end. And Peter wept. The story that he heard, he believed it, but it didn't quite reach the point of emotion. In the end, Peter wept. It became emotional within him. And so if I could sit quietly and listen carefully, just as though I heard exactly what I want to hear, and it produced in me a smile, that's a motor element. So that an idea that is only an idea produces nothing and does nothing. It is only effective if it produces in me, the one who's listening, a motor element. So you sit down and you can't stop it. You feel like laughing on the inside. You feel a smile coming over you because you like what you're hearing, and it produces that motor element. And then it's done. So we are the one who heard the story and accepted it but didn't put it into practice. So we are told, test yourself. Do you not believe that Jesus Christ is in you? Unless, of course, you fail to meet the test. I trust you will discover we have not failed to meet the test. These are his words in the end of the 2nd chapter, or the 2nd book of Corinthians, the 13th chapter, verse 5. We're called upon to test ourselves and see if we are meeting the test. Well, so I sit quietly and test myself. I think of a friend, think of someone, and then listen just as though they're present physically and tell me the most exciting news in the world until they produce in me the emotion of joy. When I feel I can laugh and rejoice with them and have the most wonderful view of them and a certain empathy in this rejoicing with them, well, then it's done. I don't have to really do anything beyond that if this thing is true. Well, I tell you, it is true, so I call upon everyone here this night to test it. There is only Christ in the world, so your own wonderful human imagination, in exercise, good, bad, or indifferent, that's Christ in action.